You're on the air, Fitz.
Cool.
It's all you, buddy.
Oh, we're live? Oh,
yeah,
is this thing on? There.
I even gave him 5 seconds.
And then I punched him in the mouth. Oh, wait.
We're still live, Fitz. You're just moving around. Yeah, we're such professionals.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our, Happy New Year, actually.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. First ever broadcast of the new year, and we're live on YouTube. This is neat. We always like to do our YouTube broadcast because they're kind of fun and interactive with our fans as well. And we get to look at each other's ugly mugs in the face.
See our workshops.
Yes. Of course, Lee and Terry have nice workshops. Mine is not even in my workshop. I'm at home looking at nothing behind me.
I think you can only see rafters on mine at the moment.
Do you do something?
No, just the way the camera angle is.
And he just likes to shoot up.
Yeah. Wait, no, don't say that. that could be taken the wrong way.
Oh boy.
You're taking Hold on 1 second.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, we're ready. Sorry, we had a whole bunch of technical difficulties getting this thing started.
We always do. You think we'd write this down sooner or later so we could figure it out.
Yeah, really.
But we just fumble our way through it every time.
That just means we got to do it more often, right?
I suppose.
All right. Well, I guess without any further ado, let's get the show on the road, I guess, eh?
Let's.
All right. We'll start with new products.
Do it.
All right. Let's do this. Rock this joint. Okay. So first up is these guys make kits. Terry, I think you've done a kit from these guys before. The old school people.
Old School Model Works, right?
Old School Model Works, yes.
Yeah, I did the Sky Ranger 40. And a few episodes ago, we talked about the Wayfarer, which is a powered glider thing. And now they've got a new model that's, I think it's going to be the first in a series of profile fuselage classic racers. The first one is the Weddell Williams Model 44, which I probably wouldn't be able to visualize that if you told me by the name. But when you look at it, you're like, oh, yeah, I've seen that before. It kind of looks like a GB, but it's not a GB.
Like a GB?
A GB. So like all their other kits, it's a laser cut, build it yourself kit. And it looks pretty cool. And looking at the features on here, it's got some neat stuff. Like unlike other balsa profile kits I've seen, this one has a tray where you can put the flight battery in the middle of the fuselage. You're not sticking it to one side or the other. And something else that I thought was cool is there's a little door on the side by the nose where if you have to add nose weight, it's kind of a compartment for you to shove in nose weight and not have to leave it hanging out in the breeze. So
yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah,
like it's kind of weird looking in just the bones, but when they painted it up, it looks really nice as sort of a GB style racer.
Well, it's modeled after an actual machine. So the Weddell Williams was a real thing.
Yeah. Neat little profile. I like how they say you can do glow and electric with it.
Oh, yeah. I meant to mention that. The prototype that they show on the website is electric, but yeah, you can do glow. What's the wings? I don't have the website up. What's the wingspan on it?
44 inches.
Yeah, okay. So I think it's going to be your 40 size sport flyer thing. And have you watched the video?
Yeah, there's only a short video of it in the bones. I didn't see one of it flying.
Oh yeah, there's a flight video. It looks like it's pretty aerobatic.
I did not see that. Oh, I guess I missed it. I guess
this is the distance between the trailing edge of the wing and the leading edge of the elevator.
No.
Oh, it's short, man.
Well, yeah.
It's really short.
It seems to fly well. It looks like a fun fly kind of thing.
I mean, I know this is weird, but if we talk about kit bashing, it's almost a plane I'd like to convert to U-Control. I mean, it really does. If my first thought was like, "Hey, well, that's a cool looking U-Control." Oh, wait, it's RC.
Yeah, it's not a far stretch.
That's a good point. It looks like make a really neat U-Control.
Some people go the other way around. They convert old U-Control kits to RC, which why not? It's an airplane, right?
Yeah, let's just go backwards. Let's go U-Control. No, but I like it. I mean, but I think the the end of the fuselage is so short. But yeah, I mean, like a GB, it is always short, and it was flying really good. It's kind of like it's a little profile, 3D plane.
Now we have, that's we do have an entire screen application window.
Does somebody have a visual they can put up?
Yeah, I'm going to put up a visual if this works. You see that?
There it is. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the Wonder Woman's. There it is in the bones, and there it is, all dressed up and purdy.
Yeah.
I think this is the video. I must have missed this one.
Oh, you're gonna play the video? Do a video?
Yeah. Like it's RC Inception.
Abort.
It's not. Just give them the link; they'll figure
There
it
you
out.
go.
And remember, we have audio listeners too who are going to listen to this podcast. They're going to be like, "What am I doing?"
Well, we do a description, and here we have the racer.
I don't know. It flies kind of choppy.
It ruined flies choppy. So
those great point rolls.
Make sure in the real world you turn up your resolution and your bandwidth. Yeah, it does.
Right.
Also did a nice little knife edge. So
yeah. Okay.
So there you go. That's
enough of that.
Come on, spoil sport. Where it is, it's a very nice looking plane.
Yeah, nice and simple. I assume it's easy to build, but and like I said, I think this is going to be the first of several in a series of classic racers. So it'll be interesting to see what else comes out. I assume in the same size and the same general layout.
Oh, so they have more planned.
That's what I've heard. Yes, and they call it the Trophy Racers, which would suggest there's more to come.
Yeah. So. Be kind of fun to race them too, I guess, as these little sort of super to form racers.
Yeah, I guess if they're all pretty consistent in layout, from the looks of it, it's got a pretty thick airfoil, so you're not going to be going that fast. But whatever, as long as they're all evenly matched, who cares?
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you think you might get one to build at some point?
Mm-hmm. I think my winter this year is already spoken for, but never say never.
Never say never.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's already January, and all the stuff I had planned for the winter, I'm going to need an extra long winter this year. So whatever the groundhog is supposed to do to keep winter.
Well, it looks like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
The laser cutting looks really nice. It looks like it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, we got some people listening. I want to say hello to some of our people out there. It looks like we got Scott Will and Steve Wuttenberg. Hey, guys. How's it going? Thanks for chiming in. Oh, also Bradley Minoga. So I've started, since we had technical issues, we wanted to do this on Facebook, but we had some technical issues trying to get all of us three together to broadcast simultaneously. So I started a real quick live feed on our Facebook page to point us to the YouTube page so they can look at us, if that made any sense. If it doesn't, don't worry about it.
I did too. So we've just inundated our
did you?
Our Facebook viewers with "Go see us on YouTube."
Yes.
Fitz, did you say that Scott Will is one of the listeners?
Scott Will, yes.
Okay, he's the airline pilot that sent us the email yesterday.
Yes, he says, in fact, he's killing time on an airline layover.
Okay, well, there you go. Thanks for joining, Scott.
Yeah.
Thanks for reaching out yesterday.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was a fantastic email. For the details, but it was, thanks, appreciate it. Okay, so what's that? Well, also feel free to send us questions, messages, hate things on, Neat Fair demo race. Oh, yeah, Steve posed a question about from the Wendell Williams play. We have a Neat Fair demo race. That'd be kind of neat.
Oh.
It'd be neat at neat.
Yeah, they did, I think we talked about it. They did the foamy organized race last year, the Soncraft planes. And that was pretty cool, kind of a one design thing. And I suppose they could do that with the balsa planes this year. The old school guys are based in Ohio, so that's not a horrible distance to go for neat.
No, that's in your relatively neighborhood, I guess.
Yeah. Not Texas, as they would say. There's Texas and then not Texas.
There's Texas and everywhere else.
Yeah.
Texas, not Texas. Texas.
All right, what's next on our list?
All right, next we have something.
Oh, this is a Terry's.
Yeah, this is kind of neat. This is Terry. You want to talk about this?
I like.
I don't know what is it. I don't have the list in
this
front
is
of me.
the module for the Night Radiant that changes the light sequence.
Yeah. So on the last episode, when you weren't around, Fitz, Lee and I were talking about the Night Radian, and we theorized that somebody either has or would come up with a module, some sort of widget that would let you control the LED functions via your transmitter. And right after that, one of our listeners, Craig Sigmund, contacted me and said, "You're right, there is one already out there." And he also invited me to join a Facebook group for the Night Radian specifically that talks about that controller. And so I ended up ordering one. It's I forget the name of it, maybe the Radian Light Controller. And it's made by this small outfit in Canada, J. Bauer Electronics. $25 for the board. And I think I paid another $7 to get it shipped here. It is not a plug and play item. You have to do some soldering. And basically it's 3 electronic switches that are in parallel with the mechanical switches that come with the kit. But other than that, oh, there you go. And it does what it says. So I've got one and it's installed and I've been using it and yeah, it works. The one caveat with all this is that the radio space and the Radian is already a little bit tight. So it takes up even more of that, but I was able to figure it out and make it where it's not a big deal. See, I've got some pictures here.
That's what an X-Acto's for.
No. You mean to carve out the foam?
Yeah, I'll get it in there.
Yeah. Right, so how do I show something from my screen on here?
There's a little screen share button on your left, Terry. You have to scroll to the left. It's a little green screen with an arrow.
I might have to deactivate it. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
Well, I'm on Terry right now, so. But yeah, you see the little screen share option, Terry?
No. What am I looking? Oh, there we go.
Use your hands. Describe it with your hands.
Does it show my whole screen or do I select a window?
You have to select one and then hit OK because right now I still see your face.
Oh,
I don't see your screen yet.
Yeah, hold on. I'm working on it. Oh,
I don't understand.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay, so let me maximize this. So can you see my mouse on here? Like
oh, yeah. Yes,
okay, so this is
just
the
move
module.
it slowly because it's got a bit of a delay in choppiness.
Okay, so where my cursor is, that's the new module. And what you see over here, this is the stock switch panel. And this is the BEC that comes with the Radian. So basically, you add these wires to put these electronic switches in parallel with the mechanical switches. And if you want to have on-off capability for the LEDs, you also put the BEC linked up to the board. I just did this for example, but I didn't want the on-off capability because I figured I might accidentally do it sometime.
Oh, I'd love that.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, once there were some hurdles to get this done because I have is it not Bind and Fly? Is it Bind and Fly? The one that comes with the receiver, that version.
Bind and Fly.
And so there were some hurdles with that we can talk about in a little while. But in terms of the module itself, it works. So if you have a Night Radian and you are somewhat handy with a soldering iron, for $25, you can control your LED from the transmitter. And it uses one 3-position switch and one momentary switch. So basically the 3-position switch tells you which of these switches you're emulating. And then the momentary switch actually does the switch function. So now I stop sharing.
Yeah, it's interesting. You got to sort of hack into it to work.
Yeah, I guess I didn't feel like I was hacking.
Well, I know. I meant that in a good way.
Yeah, I don't know if it mentions it on the website, but you do want to be fairly competent and comfortable with a soldering iron, and not like big 18-gauge wire, but surface mount stuff. And
I think that's technically is hardware hacking, believe it or not.
Yeah, okay, probably. But excuse me while I send a text. My older kids just came home, and now they're banging on the piano. I don't know if you can hear that. The piano is right above me.
I'm not dissing the device because I think it's great, and I think it would be worth it because we've been talking about getting a Radian here in the house, or the Night Radian.
Okay.
But after looking at that photo, because I hadn't seen all your stuff yet, Terry, I wonder if someone's going to take it a step further and actually make it so you can just completely disconnect the stock device without having to add another one. So you don't have two, you just have one third-party device that will actually run the lights and a sequencer.
Right. That would be nice. And again, I guess fewer components is better, just in terms of reliability. That's why I took out the mechanical switch that comes with it. There's an on-off switch that it seemed pointless to me. If I want it on, I'll plug it in. If I want it off, I'll unplug it. So why have a switch too? But
because it's cool when you're flying and you turn the lights off and people go, where'd it go? And it comes up over here.
Well, no, I mean, for the stock Radiant, it has a mechanical on-off switch. So to turn on the lights, you plug in the balance cord and then you flip a switch. Well, why the heck do you need to flip the switch too? It's just something else to break. So I cut that off. Now, let me share this other picture of the installed unit, and I'll show you how I kind of tidied things up. And here we go. So this is everything mounted in there. And the stock form, this is the switch panel, and it just kind of flops around in the cockpit. But I was able to mount it to this firewall here. And when I mounted the new light controller, I did it back to back with the stock one, and then encapsulated the whole thing with heat shrink, and then was able to put it all back up here. So it's fairly out of the way. But it does take some finagling to get all of that stuff tidied up and have room. And because of the CG on this plane, you're going to have to move the battery forward, so you can't really just leave stuff hanging out. That's hard to visualize, I'm sure, just from these little pictures, but when you've got one in front of you, you'll see what I'm talking about.
You just want to hot glue all that on top of the canopy?
You could, but then how are you going to take the canopy off?
Never mind.
Yeah, you're being facetious.
Yeah, I meant on the outside of the canopy.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, I've finished it. I flew it the other day and into the evening, and it's pretty cool. I really appreciate being able to change the light patterns while you're flying. It's a neat effect.
Yeah, it is really nice.
Yeah, other than having to land and push the button and try another one. And some of them are much more conducive to visual orientation than others, and some are just more fun to look at. And also changing the speed of the light patterns. I mean, I thought it was just kind of a hokey thing that would be fun to do, but there's real benefit in being able to control that from the ground. So if you have a light Radiant that you fly a lot, I would urge you to look into this.
Yeah, it's really clever.
Yeah. And again, we'll talk a little bit more in a few minutes about the hurdles to get it going that weren't related to the board itself, but interesting stuff that I think will catch Lee's attention because it deals with safe.
I was hoping you were going to say fire and smoke, but okay.
It might.
That could still be safe.
Yeah.
All right, what else do we have?
Okay.
I want to pick between one of these two. We got so much to talk about. Let's flip a coin between the glider and the smart tech.
I say omit the glider.
All right. Click.
That's just me.
Done.
Okay, that was easy. Well, that was easy. Okay, so next up is something, Lee, this is something you kind of talked about before, where you were interested in having an easier time of charging your batteries with the charger could recognize the batteries and it'd be easier to set up and just and we discussed there was already some options on the market, and I noticed that Horizon just came out with their own technology in regard to this, where the battery has smarts on it. Actually has a little circuit board, I guess you can probably see it now, right here, where you plug it in and the charger automatically knows what kind of battery it is, the charge rates, all kinds of technical details about the battery, and all you do is just press a button on the charger ostensibly, and it does all the work for you. And they're calling this a smart technology. Okay, simple enough. It looks
smart, safe,
smart,
super.
Yeah. If you look, can you see my mouse?
Yep.
Okay, so if you look closely, I noticed the connector is the EC3, EC5 type connector, but there's a third pin in there that looks like that has the extra data connection for the charger. Of course, you had to use their special charger, and it has a data logger built into it and all kinds of functionality, and that you can tweak it as well. So of course you have to buy their special battery pack with this little circuit board in it. And it's interesting, it also functions as a balancer as well, so you don't have to plug in, oh, I guess I scrolled too far. You don't have to plug in the battery balancer to your charger, just to use just that one connector instead of having two sets of.
And if I can kind of jump to my comment on it, that's the feature I like the most.
Yeah. One less thing to plug in?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've had batteries puff or go bad because I've let them stay charged too long, and whether it's temperature related or as well. But to have the battery already using a device inside to slowly monitor the cells and drain them, of course, at a very, very, very light milliamp discharge rate.
But it has a self-discharge feature?
It has, yes, it has a self-doubt. Well, I mean, I'm saying discharge, but it's a balancer, so I'm assuming it's got a discharge high voltage down to.
I've had a multi-rotor that was like that. If it was at a full charge voltage for more than a few days, it would automatically start a discharge to a storage charge. So are you saying this has that feature?
That's what I'm gathering from what I read. Is that what you got, Fitz? That it's got a storage if it's not used for a long time?
It goes to a storage voltage. That part, but at least it always has a constant balancer on it, so it can't get out of balance.
Okay, so it's not just the lead that interfaces with the charger. There's an actual, like a blinky. Remember the Astroflight blinkies?
It's a tiny blinky. Yes, it's like a little bitty blinky in there.
Huh. Oh wait! Oh, here it is. Let me scroll the screen back here.
Because I thought it said storage.
It does right here. It says the crowning feature is that it can be programmed to safely self-discharge to a storage condition.
That's neat.
On the battery pack. So yes.
We waited for years and years to have batteries that did not self-discharge. Couldn't wait to get out of NiCads and nickel metal hydrides. And here we are, creating computer chips to add to our batteries so they'll self-discharge.
So this is on the actual battery page. I had to go to the page that has the battery on it for the cell, and it says smart discharge allows batteries to automatically discharge to a safe voltage. So so it'll automatically storage charge them apparently, so you won't have any battery faults. If you store them charged or something like that, it'll keep them in the.
Yeah, okay,
that's pretty nice.
That.
Yeah.
They're not that much more expensive. I looked at the prices, and what a 3S 2200 is, what, like $30 or something?
It's $33.99. It's one.
Yeah, okay, that's not crazy.
It's a bit more, but I guess if it has this technology to make it last longer, it could be worth it in the long run. Because I've had batteries puff up, even if I put a storage charge on them, or I forgot to put a storage charge on them, let them sit. Did something happen?
Yeah,
they puffed up. So
that's probably the one feature that I could see being a benefit for me. I don't know how smart I need my batteries to be. I need me to be smart.
Yeah, not too smart.
Right. So yeah, I went shopping for a dishwasher last week, and the salesperson was asking me, "Do we want Wi-Fi on our dishwasher?" No, I don't want Wi-Fi on my dishwasher. How smart does it need to be? It's just another thing to break, and I don't need to start the dishes from
that's
Arkansas.
That's an issue that's been coming up, and people are speculating that at one point you may not be able to get an appliance that does not have any smarts or Internet of Things attached to it.
Yeah.
You may not have a choice.
So anyway, I appreciate the technology. It looks pretty cool. Do I need it? Is it a boon to my hobby enjoyment? Probably not. What do you think, Lee?
I think the cost is pretty high. I think the feature is nice. I think if you really want to control your battery usage and charging and monitor it, and you're into that, and maybe if you're especially like if you're doing like quad racing or something, and you've got to be really, push that pack to the limit to get as much juice as you can, I think it might be good. But remember, you're paying extra for the battery pack as well to have electronic devices on it. So, is the value there? I don't know. It just came out, and I'd like to see some people reviewing it and using it. And gosh, maybe even see if anybody I know gets one. Yeah, but you're not just investing in the battery; you're investing in the charger as well. I mean, you could just buy the battery and then not utilize that other additional feature. And maybe I wonder if the balancer adapter can be used without having to program it with one of their chargers. So, are there features that you can take advantage of with the battery? Like, is the cell technology good? I don't know if I gathered anything from the text that said the chemistry was any better than, traditional batteries we're getting now. But
they had a warehouse full of the old Kokum. What can we do with these?
The old one.
And to get that 10C up, they wrapped it 10 times. Or something. I don't know. So it's I'm not sold on it yet, but I I appreciate that they are looking to find ways to extend the life of lipos and make them better, because that's why we've gotten as far as we have. Lipos have really changed our lives, I think, especially from Kokum days when you weren't hauling up a 5-pound battery, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think maybe for sport flyers, not a big deal, but for the people who traditionally push lipo batteries very hard, so like the electric pattern guys and the heli guys, I think they're the ones who are really going to appreciate this stuff and put it to the test. So it's probably more for the high-end electric flyers than us.
But I'm not laughing at it. See, you guys are thinking I was going to laugh at it because it was safe or whatever. But I'm not laughing at it. I'd like to read more about it. But here's the little comment I wrote down, which I've got to throw in my little jig. There is that they got a British accent fella to talk about it in their promo video. Like, being that he's British, it just seemed more elegant. Right. It's like a Jaguar of the lipos. So it's just like, I just laughed hysterically. He's like, and this battery can do this smart charging, and it'll do it for you and extend the life of your lipos. It's wonderful. Have a cup of tea while you're sitting there monitoring the charge rates. I don't know.
Now, when they come up with one that has a case that keeps the battery warm on days like today, where it's single-digit temperatures outside, that's when I'll be interested. But until then, I appreciate it, but I don't think it's for me. We'll see.
Now, we were just talking about hacking stuff. I wonder if you could get one of these batteries and rip it out and hack it into another battery.
You mean the boards?
Yeah. Or would you get the board separately?
Yeah, okay. Maybe.
Yeah. Hacking into a lipo just doesn't sound right.
Hey, that's how I roll.
Play with nitroglycerin, why don't you?
Hey, it's fun for a little while at least.
All
right, moving on.
All right, well, it looks like the end of our new product segment that people haven't wanted to gouge their eyes and ears out yet. That's over with.
Is someone monitoring comments to see if there's something going on there?
You guys are so boring.
Yeah.
Stop talking about that. Oh, no. No, Glenn from here, who won the Tower gift certificate, said he got some servos, so he said thank you.
Good.
You're welcome. Good. And someone mentioned that you needed hand warmers, Terry.
Oh yeah, I've got some techniques I use for stuff. I get those the microwave things, the rice heaters, and I put them in one of those sealed bags, and I've got a whole process, but it's a whole process. If the battery had something built in,
Yeah, if you for a quick and easy way of doing it, just short out the battery.
There you go.
And that'll warm it up right nicely.
Yep.
Those old lipos you have, just stick a knife in it. There's your hand warmer.
And burners.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump subject. If anyone who is an AMA member, of course, gets the Model Aviation magazine, and if you don't, you should be. And of course, as we had the hat trick this past month in the January issue, let me go pull it up real quick here. I think
not just the hat trick, but also a feather in the cap. Keith got in too.
Feather in the cap.
So 4 of us,
and we can count Thayer. Thayer's a columnist.
Oh, and Thayer. Okay,
there. Okay. Am I not sharing? What happened?
You're not sharing.
You're not sharing.
You.
There we go. I thought I clicked it. Okay, so it's a January issue, right? No.
Yeah, January.
Okay, January issue of Model Aviation, which has a really nice shot of the E-Flight Cherokee. That's pretty snazzy. I always thought that was really nice. You're the photographer, Lee. What do you think about the cover shot?
It was a very good picture.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Yeah, it almost looks almost full scale. Anyways,
I know there were people going, darn it, another foamy. But
I know, but this one looked, whoever did that. I think it was Jay actually did the review on that model, so maybe it was his crew. Anyways, they actually posted some of it online. I did an article on the Bomber Field 30th anniversary with the help of Lee and his glorious camera. He's got several shots in there. I believe, Lee, this was your shot with the twin pups.
Yeah, but that was also right before my camera died.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody heard or we talked the story, but my camera died shortly after, I don't know, about an hour after I took that photo of the biplanes.
Yeah, it died hard.
It died hard.
But it was good
screen of death.
But I am going to just promote myself. I took a lot of great video from that event, and I don't know if I put it on RC Roundtable or my Raviation page, but we got a lot of great video from that. So it was an awesome event. So whatever Fitz wrote in the article about how wonderful it was, go watch the video. We'll put a link on our page so you can enjoy that.
Yeah, you posted quite a bit of video. So so the pictures are a mix of mine and Lee's. The top pic was a Mavic I was flying around. I borrowed from a friend. They said they wanted to use. Did I tell you about the issue I had with that picture, by the way?
No.
This one? Okay, so I submitted this picture of the high shot of the field. Actually, they used a different shot. This is a different picture. And I get a call back from Jay, the editor. Goes, do you have a higher resolution of that picture? And I'm thinking, no, that should be high resolution. And I look at the picture I sent him, and it was like 2K or something, really small. And I opened it up, and it was like 640 by 480.
Oh,
size.
no.
Like, no! I thought, oh, no, because the Mavic is a friend of mine. So I thought, oh, did I not set the resolution correctly? What did I do? And I do some investigation. I found out that, no, you can't set the resolution correctly because it's defaulted to in the raw image mode, which is really high resolution. And like, well, what happened? I just stuck it in my Surface laptop and exported it from the raw image to a JPG. I do more investigation. I find out that apparently there's a bug in the Windows, and that when you do that, it exports the thumbnail image and not the whole raw image. And so I ended up just sending him the raw image file, which was like 17 megabytes or something like that, really big. And that was fine. I ended up using that. So I had a heart attack for about 5 minutes or so.
And downsizing it on the page to 640 by 480.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, go back. I just noticed something. Look at the poll on the right.
Hold on a second. Poll on the this?
No, not the pool. The poll. Go to the right a little bit more. The right column of that screen.
Here?
I can't even
poll. Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh, look at this. Yay.
Well, I wasn't self-promoting, but
yeah, you're self-promoting. That's okay. In September 20th issue, author Terry Dunn discusses using hook and loop tape on batteries in his electric models. What issues do you have when using hook and loop tape?
What issues do I have? When Terry gives me a plane that's got it backwards?
No, it's correct. You have it backwards.
I've already done my poll. My answer is complete. I am the right.
So there's a poll. If you get there's a link on in the AMA today. That's where I found this. So that's pretty neat. So we got a super hat trick here. So not only the article.
You haven't talked about Terry's. Terry's other article.
Terry, you had an article. I don't have a link for it, but tell us about what you had in this month's issue of Model Aviation.
It was a review of the foam flight stands, which we've talked about here. So the articulating plywood stands that I've got, there's one around here somewhere. There's two around here, but I'd have to get up to get them. So foamflight.com, the stands that we have there. So there's a review of them.
Steve the one who built those? Or
Steve Mills, yep.
Because he's writing a little comment. He says, nice use of the foam flight stand there when you were doing the Radian pictures or something.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you'll see that. And there's a video on Model Aviation's YouTube page showing all about how I built the stands and used them, yada, yada. So I think the point of this whole conversation was that unknowingly, we all had some sort of content in the latest issue of the magazine.
Yeah,
we weren't aware of it until it showed up on our doorstep. My doorstep.
Was our Christmas present from, I guess, we had no idea. We just was not planned.
Warm fuzzy.
Yeah, and so, and towards the back of the issue, in Thayer Symes' Around the Patch column, he talks about Sparky's book, Building with Foam. So,
yeah.
It's like we're all holding hands, singing Kumbaya.
Yeah, it was funny. Sparky says, I was wondering why I had to start shipping out a bunch of more books.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay.
Wait, hold on. We're not done because Lee did impromptu contest when we figured this out and posted on our Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And we're just going to do a nice shout out to someone who got the closest. I don't know if did he get the Keith? Did he follow up with the Keith? Because he followed up. We had to nudge him in that direction. You nudged him, I think.
Yeah.
But so Jeffrey Arsenault, thank you for catching that little quiz I put on the on our Facebook page. You mentioned that you tracked us down, and we also found Keith. So thanks, guys, for following us on Facebook. And while we're at it, for those of you who are tuning in on this YouTube channel or listening on our podcast, if you're not a Facebook user, let us know if there are any other outlets you'd like us to use to share more information, whether you'd like us to do more YouTube shows, or if we should make some changes to our Facebook, not our Facebook page, excuse me, but our website. So, let us know. We're hoping that 2019 will give us a great opportunity to make some big changes for our show, make it bigger and better, and it'll only get that way with your help. So let us know.
All right. And without any further ado, let's move on to next. Well, Lee, since you're talking, apparently you and your son had a wee bout with your Champ, didn't you?
This thing is awesome. Austin won it at best about 5 or 6 years ago. This is the well.
Oh, poor baby! What happened to it?
This is the original. This is the from original pieces. Well, I had to replace the rudder many crashes ago. Where's the camera? There we go. But this is a well-loved airplane. If you have not picked up a Hobby Zone Champ, and well, you have to be a Spectrum transmitter user too. It's a great little plane. It's probably not very good for anything over 5-mile-an-hour winds. It's really great for just putting in the car, flying first thing in the morning, especially if you go to an event and just sit down in a chair and have fun. We have thoroughly enjoyed this Champ, and we love it so much that at Georgetown last year, I was at a table and some guy had a box. I said, "What's this?" And he says, "It's a Champ fuselage." I said, "How much do you want for it?" He goes, $5. So I just bought it, and it's been in my room for a year and it's been sitting there. So after
I would have made a twin Champ. I'm just saying.
You know what? I'm gonna jump ahead. That's exactly what Austin said. So I was like, no, I'm glad I saved it though, because there's a happy ending. So he dorked it in the tree a couple weeks ago. He was using his FPV gear, which, by the way, we'll talk about later, but he has a new little FPV headset, and he just, he got beyond what I would have recommended, but he got it stuck in a tree, and it was beat up in the tree because they kept throwing like footballs at it or something to get it out. So they just smashed it to death when they were trying to get it out. The next morning it came out, and I was able to fix it. But when we went out last weekend, Ryan was renting his truck, and no matter how many times you tell your kids don't get near the planes, full speed, vroom, and just smashed into the Champ.
That plane?
So, yeah. So, but to just jump ahead, it has been saved. Yay. So the Champ has got its new fuselage. All the electronics are back in. The original wing, actually, it's not too bad. It had a couple of hairline cracks in it, but I saved it.
Replacement wings are pretty cheap. I think they're like $5 or $6.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like we were able to save it, so yeah. I didn't have to spend the $5. But I mean, I'm just patting myself on the back. I thought I did a pretty darn good job on making a new Champ tail with 3mm foam.
Is that 3?
Yeah, it's 3.
Okay.
So anyway, flies great. In fact, I mean, the motor even sounds better too, because I think some people don't do a lot of cleaning of their motor after several years of use. So I took it out, did a lot of oiling and brushing it out, so it really does fly smooth. It's still not made for wind, but I will tell you, he had a little damage. I'm not sure if it was from the tree or the run over, the drive-by. But the rudder servo is not moving very well. It's got a little jittery and it won't center properly. So you might get this in a turn and pull back and it's still turning it to go the other way. It'll go too much. So you got to find that happy place. But it's very minor to the fact that we got our plane back. So if you saw my post on Facebook, which I thought was pretty funny, there was a story called The Ship of Theseus. It's about he wasn't a pirate, but anyway, he had a ship that kept getting repaired, and the crew kept the pieces in a warehouse. So if someone rebuilt that boat from the warehouse pieces, would that be the Ship of Theseus, or would the new one, the one he's been using? So I just find it funny that if for some reason I had the gall, time, loss of intelligence to take this and build another one out of it, which one's the original?
All right.
So there we go. Champ, great plane. Get one. Worth it.
So what's the FPV gear you're using on it? Is that a Cricket?
Yeah. Well, great. So Ryan ran over the Champ. Daddy stepped on the Cricket cam.
Oh.
Well, and I blame Austin because he left it in the floor, because this walkway here is nuts. I'm not going to show you on pictures, but Austin just took something off. He left it on the ground. I just stepped on it and crushed the antenna. So for Christmas, I bought 2 Cricket cams. They were on sale at Ready Made RC. They're nice little 25 milliwatt cameras, and He loves it. I mean, when I took the helmet and he was flying, it's really kind of cute to fly it. And the Champ S Plus already has an extension off the receiver to power their little Cricket camera. So we also put a Cricket cam on the Champ.
Nice. And the little Champ hauls the camera around without protest?
Nothing. Yeah. Okay. It's Cricket cam it's very small.
Yeah. But still, I mean, what's that? A 1 ounce airplane?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's under the limit. Yay.
Right.
But yeah, it hauls it great. So if you have FPV and you want to put that on that, it's perfect.
Cool.
So that's my Champ story. Do you have any comments, Fitz? You've been silent.
Yeah, no, nothing to add.
Do you guys have a Champ?
No.
No. I mean, I've had my share of ultra microplanes, and I have some Champ wings I've put to use, but I've never owned the box stock Champ.
May get Santa to stop by y'all's house next the end of this year.
That would be lovely.
All right. Let's see. Someone who had some issues with programming Spectrum something. Is this radio?
Yeah. So that's me. We'll go back to the Night Radian. So I bought that module and the light module, and the way it works is it takes 2 channels of your receiver. And I thought, no big deal, because the bind and fly version comes with the 6-channel receiver, the AR636A, which is Spectrum's out-of-the-box safe AS3X receiver that comes in their ready-to-fly models.
Right, but the A series is the one that's programmed for that plane.
Is that the difference in an A and not an A?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize the distinction.
Little shout out to Chris Wolf, because I had some questions about stabilization and stuff, and he and I were talking about the 636, and that's something I learned, is that the A is like pre-programmed for that particular airplane.
In terms of the gains for the stabilization and all that.
I assume so.
And the servo directions, things like, yeah, okay, I can see all that. And I didn't think that would be an issue, because really I'm just going to plug it into 2 unused channels and set switches to those channels and be done with it, right? Well, when I first soldered everything up and plugged it in, nothing was working. I'm like, doggone it, I must have soldered it wrong, or this board is bad. And then I decided to do some troubleshooting first, and I unplugged the light controller and put servos into those unused channels, and the servos weren't doing anything. I'm like, oh, this is really weird. So come to find out, on that model, the Night Radian, with that receiver, channels 4 through 6 are just inactive. They're dead. There's nothing going to those output ports.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. That's exactly what Chris was saying. I think every A.
Why does it make sense? Why would they just disable that?
Well, because they pre-programmed that A model. I think that's how they figured out. Anything that you get with an A in it has been programmed by Horizon Hobby for that kit. So if you pick up an A out of a P47 and an A out of a Cub, they're not going to work the same because they're tweaked.
I get it, but do they have to kill unused channels to accomplish that?
Yes, they do. It's their prerogative.
I could understand channels 5 and 6 because they're just superfluous. But I'm like, surely they didn't deactivate the rudder channel. I mean, the physical rudder on the plane is through the aileron channel, but rudder, it's rudder, right? What? But no, the rudder channel's dead.
Well, we just got a note from Steve. It says 2 channels used for safe and AS3X.
I'm not sure how that is incorporated into the receiver, but it's not part of the programming. It's embedded into it. So you still have those 2 extra channels free to use.
Yeah, you'll have to have those 2 channels programmed in your transmitter to turn off. Well, I think you can turn off safe, or you can pick the 3 settings for safe, correct?
You can pick the 3 settings for safe without enabling either 5 or any of those extra channels. It's somehow embedded into that. I don't know how they did that, but the mode switch and all that works without the extra channel.
Maybe that is the extra channel.
But you're getting me off course.
Go. Don't confuse me with facts.
What I had to do, I had to get one of the programming cables. There's a few options. There's a Bluetooth and a USB, and I think there's also a smartphone version that goes through your headphone jack. I got the USB version, and basically it plugs into the data port on your receiver, and then there's an app that you can run on Windows or Apple or whatever. And basically it brings up a menu that's specific to that receiver. And I didn't go into any of the gain settings for the safe and all that because I didn't need to. But it's just a matter of going in and selecting those two channels and activating them to certain functions. And that was it. Once I did that, everything worked perfectly. I just thought it was very weird that they would we heard that. That was very weird that they were inactive out of the box, and I couldn't understand why. And it took a lot of troubleshooting. I even called Horizon. I called their tech support line and asked, is this what's going on? They're like, I don't know. And this was, of course, a holiday weekend, and so it took a while to get a firm answer from them. But in the meantime, with the servo, I was able to determine that. So,
well, I will say that's something I pulled up on a couple of websites about how do I modify a 636A receiver for my plane, that's not from the original aircraft. Not like you're moving it from one P-47 to another P-47.
Right.
So
there's a huge RC Groups thread about that.
Yeah. And that's great because I picked up a 636 for the Skyhunter.
Sorry.
So I'm going to play with that. Made sure I got the plain one and not pick up an A online. But I had a 636A on the. Well, you know what? I take that back. No, I think the Cub is pretty old. The CZ Cub that I have, and that was a 635, one of the first series. So I think that was one where it was really they're not tweaked for that plane. And I just had so many terrible problems with it. I yanked out the stabilization. So, but I'm curious about it. I wouldn't mind playing with some more AS3X receivers, especially since it's been a while, and try to get that programming tool and see if I can and learn it. I'm open for that.
Yeah, I didn't go deep into that RC Groups thread, but I poked around at it, and there are some people who are really getting down into the nitty gritty of how you change around some of that safe programming. So I don't know that I'm interested enough to really get to that level of granularity, but I'm interested to see what sort of things you can do beyond just activating dead channels. So
and I'm going to be doing that too, so we'll keep in touch.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is, if you're going to get one of those light controllers, get the Spectrum cable too, because it's worthless without it. That is, if you have the bind and fly version. If you've got the version where you put your own receiver in, then you're good to go. And that's funny because I contacted the guy who makes that light controller, and I said, no, something's not working here. And he's like, he had the other version. He'd only tested it with his own receiver. I'm like, oh, well, FYI, people with the bind and fly are going to need this. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, I have a programming cable now, and who knows what I'll do with it. Oh, it's right here. $20. Not bad. My local hobby shop had it. So
very nice.
Thanks, Fields Hobby.
This episode brought to you by. All right, okay, let's real quick, let's run down the last few topics we have. I'm going to leave one for next time. You know what that is. Well, we just had Christmas, and I know you guys, Christmas is not all that big a deal for me because I don't have 8,000 kids like you guys do. What did you guys get for Christmas?
RC related?
Yeah. Anything?
No, nobody buys me RC stuff. No.
Oh, they just don't.
No, they know better.
Is that by choice?
Well,
they know better, yeah.
Yeah, I think people used to get me gift certificates, and that was fine.
Yeah.
But really, in terms of buying me stuff, what would they get me? So,
stuff?
Yeah, unless
stuff?
I made. I'm sure I could make a specific request and say I want XYZ model, 234. Here's the website for it. But if somebody wanted to surprise me with a gift, they would be at a loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Oh well.
And really, what do I need?
Yeah, good point. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
How about you, Lee?
Well, so we have the Fitz, I don't have kids. To the Terry, what do they know about me? And to me, I did good this year. So I'm going to show off some of the stuff. And if y'all were on our YouTube show a couple months ago, my problem was I didn't have long enough cord to do my little show. Now I've got a 10-foot cord. So I want to tell you all the best present I got this year. It was amazing. I don't know if I put the whole video up on our Facebook page, but Austin wanted to do something special for me. I wasn't allowed to come in the workshop a couple of days I was thinking in my head he was going to build a Thunder and Lightning for himself, whether he's going to build it out of foam or out of flight test foam. But he got me. He made this video that had him do a time lapse of taking an old Thunder and Lightning that I built a long time ago, probably 6-8 years ago. That's made out of blue Dow fanfold foam, and made it a twin.
Cool. What did you call that one before?
Orange Bang.
Orange Bang. That's it.
Yeah. So this Orange Bang flew great. I took the gear off. In fact, I remember why. I had the high-speed 65s on this one, and I used them for the Yellow Jacket that you guys might remember from Dogfights.
Oh, the servos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I gave him the plane. It's been sitting in his closet all this time, just sitting on the shelf. Well, that sucker just wowed me. He took it, and no, this ain't pretty, guys, but it's the thought that counts. He put glue and everything all over the place. But that little guy, he went online using mommy's money. Went to the flight test site, picked up a twin setup package for another plane they have, and he did a pretty darn good job. I've flown it. I'm going to try to wrap this up. We have video. I'll repost it again. But he has a flight video that was amazing. And the surprise was after he got his GoPro 7 for Christmas, which he is just ecstatic. I mean, this kid's face is beamed. He goes, I got to give you my present now, Dad. So he actually, like that morning, made a video of him taking it out and flying it. And he went upstairs and finished editing his little surprise for me. And it shows at the very end of the video when he did a time lapse building it, him about to toss it, and then he cut.
Yeah, that was a good cut.
I mean, it was awesome though. I loved it because he said, "You know where to go, Dad." So I found it. I saw the video. We went out and flew it. It's really fun. It does need a little bit more speed. These motors are kind of tiny, but this was a great gift. So I will most likely, now that my son beat me to the punch, I will make another Thunder Lightning twin with CF88 and some motors that I like. So be on the lookout for that.
Did that hit you in the feels?
Yes, I was feeling good. It was awesome. And then, to go out with him and fly. And here's the other little thing. I knew something was up when he'd asked me a week before to say, "Hey, Dad, I've never flown the Thunder Lightning. Can you go take me out to the field and fly the Thunder Lightning?" And I was like, "Oh, that's neat. I'll show you." And he flew it, and he was great. He was like, "I don't need to teach anything," but he kept asking me questions like, "Well, where's the CG on this? Like, how do you apply power when you land?" I mean, there's all these little.
If you're going to make a twin, what motors would you use?
So I was like, okay. And at one point, he kept going back on the CG. It's like, would you please stop asking me about the CG? Just fly the plane, So anyway, he was doing great. So that's the nice gift I got. I got a couple other things, but I wanted to show you guys one thing I bought myself.
Is that considered regifting? That he gave you a present that you gave him? Yeah. It's the fruitcake of RC.
Well, I don't know. I guess you could say that, but I mean, he spent way more money for the electronics on that. Yeah. So
he did a good job with that. That shows ingenuity.
That was really clever.
And it flew great. I think when he was flying it, he had the battery way too forward. So it was very nose heavy. So I was able to move it back and do a little trimming, and it flew even better.
Only you'd told him more about the CG.
Well, I thought I did. I didn't actually check the CG. But anyway, I bought myself a little gimbal for my GoPro 5. They had these on sale at a place that I can't name because I have a good friendship with somebody. But it's a Fiotech. Are you familiar with that brand? No. Fits or something? It's this little battery-powered gimbal for my GoPro 5. I'm going to start it so you guys can see it.
Is it something
my handheld? 5. Yeah, it's just a little handheld. But nice. It's pretty darn cool. And it's got a little weight to it, but I was talking to Austin saying, what I was thinking of getting this for is to take the plywood tray from that Cub, because it's got a little pilot figure, and make another tray because it's got a 1/4 on the bottom, and just stick that right there in the Cub, just because it's a lot of fun, and it might even fit on my CZ Cub.
That'll be interesting to see a stabilized view on a fixed wing plane. Yeah, because as you bank, it's going to stay horizontal.
I know. I just think it'd be kind of cool though.
So anyway. Are the batteries for it in that base there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you could yank those out and shoot a lead up there from a UBAC or something. Maybe if you wanted to save weight.
They're not very heavy. I mean,
does it have any controls for elevation or anything?
It doesn't. It's all just it's meant to be standalone. I mean, and another thing I got it for is because it was relatively inexpensive. I mean, I think I paid $80 for it.
Oh, that's a good price.
Austin wants to do stuff on his bike and things. So, and you could put it on a pole The footage I saw was a guy who was just walking around a park or something, and I just thought it was neat. So, I'm going to have fun with it. I might be able to get it to invert, and go on a quad or something like that, just to try to keep a steady shot.
You might be, I was just thinking on a
gimbal lock.
Yeah, I was just thinking that you might gimbal lock it on a fixed wing plane if you're not careful.
But anyway, just kind of, it could, but it does. Once you hit the limit, it'll eventually pan back. So,
okay, that's
so as far as gifts, that's all I'm going to chat about. I got some gift cards and little things like that, and CA for myself.
That'll be good when you're at events and you do the walk around of the pits and things like that. So.
I just figured I've always wanted to have one. Although the Session 5 has digital stabilization, it's not too bad. Austin's GoPro 7 has incredible stabilization. It's really good, and I was like floored. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. So we actually, I think I showed you guys the video.
I've seen some with it. You can tell when they use the stabilization because it's a static mount, but the plane shifts around.
Yeah, the plane's like this, and the horizon's just a rock. Well, anyway, I took advantage of that Christmas special. I picked up a couple of LiPo batteries for myself, a couple of new Lifey batteries, receiver batteries. So that was my Christmas. Oh, and this is not a Christmas thing, but I do want to show you this one last thing, because this is something I complained about a lot, but I guess I'm the Grinch, and my heart grew 3 sizes that day. I'm going to try to restore or recover or bring back to life this POS revolution.
Oh, that's the Horizon plane you were
I ripped out all the brains, all the stupid servos. I put in my 9-gram servos, put skewers on the tail in here because this thing was just like flexing terribly. Yeah. And anyway, I grabbed my old Easy Star brushed speed controller that I had somewhere stored in a bin in the shelves. And I'm going to give this thing a chance to see if we can have fun with it. So,
of course you can.
Stay tuned.
So it doesn't belong to you, right? It still belongs to the kid. You're just regutting it.
I think whatever
just holding it for him.
I was going to say whatever he got for Christmas, he's completely forgotten about this terrible plane that he dorked into the ground. But maybe I'll give it to him and we'll see how it goes. All right, that's the end of my spiel.
All right.
All right. Well,
like you made out pretty well, Lee.
I did. I had a good year.
You made up for the rest of us. You made up for us. Huh?
Yeah. Right.
And speaking of making up, we're maybe even talking about getting together.
Yeah, we got a couple events coming up. What, Terry? Did that look on your face?
Seeing you guys in person. It's a weird concept.
I probably shrunk, lost more hair. You won't recognize me.
Not used to seeing us corporal beings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I kid.
Well, we got 2 things coming up. Lee and I, looks like we're going to see if we can make it out to the Georgetown Swap Meet coming up in what, a week or 2?
Next week. Yeah, next week. I'm crossing my fingers. Something has come up for my son's Cub Scouts, but but the good news is because my oldest is a Life Scout, he might be able to actually take my place. Oh. So if that works, then yes, you and I are going to Georgetown.
Ooh, you have the con number 1.
So as consumers or sellers or what?
Well, as
both?
RC Roundtable hosts, as interviewers, and if I have money in my pocket, maybe a couple of buyers.
Well, I actually plan on trying to sell one thing, but it's not a major thing. So
you're not going to tell us, are you?
No, it's one of the little planes. You've seen it before.
Okay.
Important. I'm not really looking to buy anything per se, unless something really jumps out at me. But
I'm waiting for the auction, a $5 item. Let's see if I get another $5 plane.
With servos.
Yes, but I'm going to keep my hands in my pockets. You remember last time I accidentally bid on something.
Right.
The bidding ended. The guy walks over to me. Here you go. Like, wait, what?
And if it was like, I was just checking my camera or something. I don't remember what your camera was, but his face was just like, dude. Yeah, don't wave your hands at Georgetown when you're in the auction. Just stand like this.
So now, was that the one where the tax man was last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be interesting to see if they come back.
Yeah, that's kind of why I want to go. I want to do a follow-up, see if they can recover.
Yeah.
See how it's going.
Right.
We'll see.
So what are the details? Georgetown, Texas.
Yeah, right side of Austin, right?
North side of Austin, near Round. It's actually closer to Round Rock.
Okay.
And I think it's Friday and Saturday. I think that's when I went. I think I went Friday and Saturday.
Like
correct?
A week from today.
Yes, but
Yeah,
I think Fitz is going to show up here Friday night. We're going to get up early and go out Saturday.
Yeah, that's January 18th and 19th.
Okay. That'll be fun.
So we'll if everything works out, when Fitz and I go, we'll do some live Facebook feeds.
Good.
Sounds like a plan.
And if any of you out in internet land are going, say hi.
Yeah, look for us.
Say hello. We might even have some stickers with us. If I can find any.
Maybe we need some RC Roundtable brand lipos.
Yeah.
Where are those old Kokums we can relabel?
Yeah, they're 500C. Yeah. All right. Well, the next event is hopefully will be all three of us.
This is neat.
And that's the AMA Expo East.
Woo-hoo.
Yes. In Secaucus, New Jersey.
Say that again?
Secaucus.
What'd you call me?
It's right across the river from Manhattan.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Is that close, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was further south in New Jersey.
Nope. Right there. You can throw a rock and, well, hit the river.
And hit the ground?
Yeah. Very close. It's a quick and cheap bus ride if you want to go into Manhattan from there. But why would you want to? You want to stay at the expo for all 3 days.
Yeah. This I'm particularly interested in this because I've been to the AMA West some many moons ago, but that was before the East even existed. So I'd be curious to see how the East looks like compared to what I experienced before.
Well, this used to be a different show. Was it the Ram show before?
I understood it had some relations to the Ram, but
somebody's screaming at their computer right now. I don't know what the genesis of it was, but it was historically a different.
It's funny. The Ram show was the first show I ever went to like that. Back when I was a teenager, when I lived in Connecticut, I had a high school teacher that was into RC models, and he says, "Hey, I want to go to this Ram show. You kids want to come along?" And
that's the same guy that gave you a plane or sold you a plane or something.
No, he never gave me one. But it was like a shop instructor, and I was interested in models, and so I went. Had another classmate went, although he had no interest in models. I don't know why he went, but
for the chicks.
But it was cool. That's why I bought my first plane. That's where it was. Not
okay. Yeah, now I remember.
I bought one. Then I subsequently flew into the side of a school.
Nice. 88 Magnum shoots through schools.
And the person and the children and what did he? Never mind.
My mother hung me on a hook once.
Once.
Anyway,
Lee, you've been quiet. What's your thoughts?
No, I'm excited about AMA East. I've never been to one. I've never been to the expo. I think it's exciting that the three of us can get together and we can represent RC Roundtable at a large RC event. I hope that'll be fun. I'm hoping that we'll be able to figure out a way to let our listeners know that we'll be at a certain place at a certain time and maybe do a live broadcast from, a corner of the hall or
the bathroom,
or we'll just sneak into a vacant booth and just interrupt them. Enough about your fiberglass talk. We got to talk RC Roundtable.
So it's not set in stone yet, but it's looking like we'll all be there. And this is February 23rd to the 25th or 22nd to the 24th, that weekend in February. And I am most likely going to be there. I've been invited to do a how-to talk Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'll be talking about how I do the cameras for my in-flight stuff. And then if Fitz and Lee are able to make it up, we'll just be hanging out and shooting the breeze.
Well, and here's something the three of us have talked about, haven't shared it with our listeners yet, but by going to this expo, we want to go meet new vendors. We really want to pretend like we know what we're talking about, and we'd like to talk with vendors that maybe you would like us to chat with because you can't go to the event or you'd like to learn more about their products. So we're going to go out and reach out to some of these vendors and learn about some of the products they have and see if we can either get them on the show or do an interview while we're there at the expo. So your input is helpful. If you guys want us to look for something, or there's a particular, I don't know anything about the event, so I don't know. Terry, you can name some of the events that happened during the show, because remember you went to the indoor event, right? What else do they have?
Oh, they had indoor control line flying,
Okay.
electric, and they had some open flying for small foamies and helis and stuff. There's some neat stuff going on. They have a boat pond, and stuff was going on there the whole time. They had kind of a rocket make and take. There's all sorts of stuff to do there, and a number of vendors too.
I mean, I know I could just sit there and walk around, but if some people gave us some guidance on what they'd like to see and hear, that'd be great. I would like to make an episode of it.
There's going to be a lot of good speakers this year. Mason Hutchinson from Scaled Composites will be there. And last year he talked about the big plane. So I don't know if he's going to be talking about that again this year. But Matt Chapman is a new one now. He's the guy that flies the Embry-Riddle aerobatic plane.
Yeah.
You have to look at it on the website. There's other people there.
And also, if any of our listeners are bigwigs and they can get us into some parties, let us know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of places to go, last year when I was there, Thayer and I took a side trip to the airplane museum. What is it? The Intrepid. And we went over there for the afternoon. And holy cow, that was a great trip. So we the boat itself, we would have stayed forever, but they closed and kicked us out of there. And so then we explored Manhattan a little bit. But yeah, there's just so much stuff to do around there, and the museum was great. So there's a lot to do. I would encourage anybody who's up in that general area. I know we've got some listeners in Connecticut and maybe Long Island and around there. Come on out, come see us. Throw Rotten Tomatoes during my presentation. I don't care.
That's my job.
Whatever. You can hand out the tomatoes.
I'm going to make some money on the side.
Yeah.
So Terry, is the list of speakers presented somewhere?
Somewhere? It's I don't know the exact website. If you go, well, you know what? Google AMA Expo.
Okay, and they have itinerary and whatnot up there already.
Yeah, I'm listed under how to.
How to drill holes in your plane.
Yes.
There's also a Facebook page for the AMA Expo, which they seem to be posting there every couple of days.
Stephen Wattenberg, I think, said he was going, so hopefully we'll see him there. And
he wants me to shoot you with marshmallow guns.
Oh man, that'd be fun.
Am I missing something? Is that an in-joke?
Oh, no. Instead of Rotten Tomatoes, shoot you with a marshmallow gun.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm slow.
It's all right.
You can shoot me with a marshmallow gun right into my mouth.
Well, to me, that's a great way for us to start this year. I have plans to go to some events. My personal little resolution is I'd love to attend at least 2 RC events, flying events every month this year.
Oh, every month?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it even 2 every month?
I'd like to. It's a goal. If I get 1 a month, that'll be good. But I'd like to do 2 because we've got a lot of cool events, and even if they're not aviation related, I know there's some car events going on. Fitz, we talked about the new RC hobby shop down in Sugarland, so we might go visit with them, see what they've got going on. But there's it's kind of that we want to keep the hobby going. We got to support the fields and the hobby shops. So that's kind of what I want to do, is to make sure people don't give up. I know I've known a handful of people that got out of the hobby because of all the government regulations, but I think we're having fun. I think the show has been great. We've had people come up and greet with us and meet with us. We had a wonderful time at Flight Fest. I hope that comes back this year.
Yeah, Flight Fest. We had quite a few people that listened to the show that came up and talked to. We met some really, really nice, great people out there.
Yeah, we had 4 or 5 people sit in with us. So let's do better than that next year. And later this year, and hopefully, cross our fingers, they'll come back to Texas. But if not, hey, is anybody up for Flight Fest Ohio? Boys,
interesting. We just dropped the hammer on us.
Terry, would you go again?
Yeah, it's a quick commute for me, and I was planning to go anyway.
Well, so. I'm telling you right now, my oldest is begging me. Right. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, the only question for me is it another day trip, or can I wrangle the time to stay overnight? So,
well, I know he. I mean, if I brought him, I would just say take a sleeping bag to the build tent. I'll catch you in the morning, because that's all he did.
And we also had Neat too that we were talking about at one point.
We talked about going to Neat. That's it. Again, guys. This video is great because it just. I think it shares with you our excitement of what we want to do this year. So if there are events, if you guys are listening to this, video later on in this year or whatever, if there are stuff you like us to attend, talk about, email us, contact@rcroundtable.com. Go to our Facebook page, post. Let us know. We're eager to go out there and have some fun. And I know with Flight Fest and this AMA Expo, I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood to go have some fun with my RC friends.
Not that mood.
Well, on that note, I can't think of anything else to add. We really look forward to this year. This is going to be a glorious year for modeling, I think, for us. I think this is, it's in our blood, so we're going to make the best of it. And hopefully we can get out and reach out and touch some of you guys out there in the world and have a good time doing it.
But thanks to everybody who joined us. It was very short notice and an awkward time. So appreciate people who joined in live.
Yep.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for joining in. We appreciate you all. And on that note, I think we'll end the live broadcast, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.